Welcome back to Let's Clone. My name would be Stephen French, and this is part 4 of Minesweeper. This should be our final part, unless there's any questions or suggestions on ways that we can move this game a little bit farther. But let's see. We are going to add in pretty much just the ability to play in a, I guess, easy, medium, or hard, or a small, medium, large board. So let's start off by just adding the images for, I guess, the buttons into the game, and we'll just move on from there. Alright, so we're going to start off by adding in a few sprites. We're going to do a sprite small. These are buttons, so I guess I'll call it button small. Okay, so we're going to add the buttons for the small frame, and you'll kind of see how they all fit together in just a little bit. But we want to have the black border as our 0. We're going to sprite button medium, load in our 2 medium sprites, again black as 0, and sprite button, I'm just going to spell large, I guess, large, and adding these two. We're also going to add a background, load, I was hoping it would bring me to the same spot, minus mechanic is not. Oh, I actually forgot to make a video about that. Maybe tomorrow. Where the fuck is it? Minesweeper. Sprites. No, it wouldn't be under sprites. It would be under backgrounds, images. Bang. So you'll have these in the assets folder in the link in the description. Ooh, I'm going to say background menu. Neat. Alright. So we're going to add the buttons. We're going to add the background. We're going to... Yeah, let's make the buttons first. I'm going to put them in a group called buttons. I'm going to object button small, give it there that small, edit, create. All we need in the create is image speed because we have 2 images and we want to toggle them with a mouse over. And then add event step toggle sprite and click button. Sure. We're going to say image index is equal to 0 every frame, and then when the mouse is over, we're going to force it to be 1. So we're going to say if position meeting at mouse x, mouse most u, mouse y, ID, self also works for now, but I believe someone said it was deprecated, and I don't know how true that was. So use ID or self, and I won't know the difference. Perhaps he's talking about Game Maker Studios 2. In that case, I have no idea. Alright, so if we are mousing over, we're going to say image index is equal to 1. And then we're going to say if mouse check button press. All we need here is a room go to, and since this is the small button, we're going to say rm small. We don't have any rooms actually. We'll do capitals. Why did I make? Oh, I already made the small room. That freaked me out. Okay, you should. Oh, mouse button pressed. Mouse button underscore. What are you doing? Mouse button left. So if we press the left, what are you doing? What are you doing? She's just got her ass in the air, just scraping her back feet on the bed. Alright, mouse button left while we are within, I guess, the collision box of the button. Kitty, you're freaking me out. There's nothing there. Neat, and that's all we need for all of our buttons. This, just because I am picky, make sure there's 3 so it changes the title there. But I'm just going to duplicate both of these. Object button medium. I'm going to change the room to RM medium. It doesn't exist yet, but I don't care about that. Duplicate object button large. Give it a large button and RM underscore large. Sweet. All right. Next up, we're going to come into our rooms and build the rooms that we need. We don't need to do anything with views. So first we're going to create a menu just that we can put all of our buttons in. The menu is going to be the same size as the large window, so it's going to be 400 by 440. Let's come into our backgrounds. Visible when room starts, give that the menu background. And we're going to need to put in our buttons here. So buttons, we're going to have a small button. This, I'm going to use my border details, so 8 and 48, so I can snag it right into that point. We're going to also have the medium button, which looks, it just fits in there. This is not an aesthetic option. It's just what I drew up in Photoshop in just a few minutes time to have something to work with. So we got 3 buttons in a menu room. Let's put the menu room first. Now we're going to duplicate both of these room sizes and make our medium and large. So I'm going to say RM medium. Medium, this is, I believe, 272 by 312. And we want our X to be half of that, so that's 136. No, come on, go there. Neat. Last, whoa. You duplicate that. RM large, we're gonna have 400 by 440, again, same size. Hi, kitty. X is gonna go at 200, so we can snap this little face right there. Awesome. Kitty, hold on. Now, make sure that the medium and the large buttons are at precise collision detection. So medium and large, precise. That the empty pixels did still count as being clickable, and we could write a code where it's like it's touching this, but it's not touching that. I don't care to do that. So I just made the middle sections hollow, or I guess the upper left corner is hollow. So now we can click on either of these, and it's going to create what we want almost. Say clicking small, we can play it. It's all blown up and sucks. We don't have a debug for that. So really quick, another thing that I always throw in these games that I'm surprised I haven't done yet is I'll just have a debug section just so we can speed things up. But in this, I'm actually going to use it as a feature for the game because I don't know why not. If keyboard check press virtual key escape, I'm just going to do game restart. Hey love, what are you doing? Oh, do you want to go outside where the noisy puppy is? You might. Cool. So let me just show you that one more time with the escape button so we can check what all of these sizes do. So creating a small blows it up to the wrong size, creating a medium, now the room is the wrong size because it's the size of the large, and we have that only scaled down a little bit. Large is doing the same thing. So we need to increase the size of our rows and columns for our grid. We need to increase the number of mines that are placed throughout the map. And then we need to also tackle the scaling issue. All of that is going to be done in our controller create event. We create the grid and do all the work here, but we use the variables that we've initialized in the step before. So we're going to use them here for that. Let me see. I don't need the number of flags. Columns, rows, mines. All of these are going to be the variables that we're going to have to change depending on the room size. So I'm actually going to run a switch statement to check what room we are in and then assign the correct values. So switch room. Oops. We're going to have case for RM small. Oh, that should just be, oh yeah, that should be a colon. And a break statement with a semicolon. Then here is where we're going to actually have our values. I'm just gonna do this a few more times because copy paste is our worst friend. Medium is going to have 40 bombs. We're going to be at 16 rows and 16 columns. And then for our large, we're going to have 99 bombs. We're going to have 24 rows, 24 columns, and an appropriate name. Cool. So what this will do is still not quite enough, but I do want to show it just so we can kind of see the steps as we're going. That puppy, I'm going to take him out just when I'm done recording this. All right, so now if we hit small, it's still a little bit fucked up. If we hit medium, of course it did. Almost. I almost made it through a video without an oopsie. Almost. Goddamn. Medium is now better. It's still a little bit on the wrong scale. Large, perfectly fine. And large actually is fully functional now. We have, let's find a bomb. Fully playable large room. Now let's, with 2 lines, fix our small and our medium. I'm gonna say adjust, I guess room / window size. Now, I will admit I don't totally know what these 2 bits of code do. They're resetting our values, but I don't understand why we need to, because the room values are kind of determined since we created the rooms. I don't know. This part of GameMaker kind of confuses me. I just found a way to get through it, and we just have to pretty much reset the size of the window programmatically and resize the surface that it's being drawn to. So that looks like this. Window set size, and we're going to use room width and room height. That resets the size of our window. And then surface resize, we're going to do application surface, which I imagine to be just the surface that we are using by default. Room width and room height. I should take it upon myself to better understand these. I've looked through like bits of what this does, but I need to understand a little bit more to be confident with it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go about this in the laziest way that I can. We're gonna take our debug code. We're gonna take our create code. Those 2 lines that we just did, we are going to copy them over into our debug. And I'm just gonna make this a bit longer. This is just mostly for us, for when playing the game. We don't have to, why is this being so awful? We don't have to like close the application every time. There's no like back button. You could make this be right click on the smiley face if you want. I guess that would make sense. But I'm just gonna say room, go to RM, menu. I'm going to resize everything. I don't think I need to do that since I've set room to menu, but then I'm going to restart it. Just throw that is literally in our debug, just so we can close it. So I don't care too much. But so now for large, we go backward to the full screen. We go backward. Fuck you. What did I do? Oopsie king. Okay, this is all the more evidence that I don't understand how this code works. Because I thought that would work. I checked my other project and I just hard-coded the sizes into here. And then it seems to work. Which makes sense because you like running that to the correct size is how we got it to work in the first place. I just thought that doing the room go to would have been fast enough. But we'll try it. There we go. Now, what my complaint was originally is that scaling that happens. I don't understand why that happens. You could make a transition screen, like possibly, that could avoid that. I don't quite get it. I can't get around it, so I'm just gonna ignore it for now. You could also run this in a one standard size window that just draws a smaller grid. That puppy is just fucking crying the whole time. It's been like the length of this video that he's been in his kennel. So yeah, just you can make the window one size and then have the board drawn smaller and smaller. I actually can't even fucking talk. I actually see in the Windows Minesweeper that I get with, I think this is 10, whatever, it does that. They don't even have the scaling window size anymore, so that was a bit upsetting. But we do have everything working just fine now. You go back to small, and you're Gucci. There's one last thing that I wanted to do, and that is because somebody had asked me in a comment something about posting to HTML5, and the only thing that doesn't work in this game is our font. And I'll explain that in just a second. So we're going to make a font default, Arial, bold, size 12. This can be whatever you want. I found the size 12 works well for the aesthetic of this game. And then in your controller event, in your create event, all you're going to do is draw set font to font default. Now this is only if you've, I guess, purchased the HTML5 export, which runs in a browser, which I guess compiles the game so it can be run in a browser. If you don't set an actual font, it won't draw anything. They'll all just be blank. I don't know why it doesn't pick a font by default, but you have to actually select a font, type, set it to that, and then you're good. But playing the game, everything works the exact same. You can upload this to h.io just like any other project, and yeah, send it to your buddies. But that will be it. All right, guys, that is the last part to Minesweeper. The game is playable. The game's kind of fun. One thing I did ask in the last part, and I'll ask again in case anybody's interested, if you want to see how to do like a scorekeeping, so you can have like your high score, which is really just your time that it took you on whatever board. It's pretty easy to like write that to a file, save it locally to your machine, and then you can have that pop up every time you win. I might include it in a later project, but if anybody wants to see it as like a part 5 to this, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be sure to make that. If not, it'll be integrated somewhere else in another project. But Minesweeper has been really fun for me to make. It took me a little bit longer to put out than I wanted it to, but 'tis how it goes. And yeah, I'm gonna pick up the next game and move right along with it. I'm still working on my Into the Gungeon kind of mini clone, but it'll probably take me a bit longer to finish. So we're gonna pick a platformer or something next. Let me know what game you'd like to see in the future, and I'll get started on the next one in a day or two. Thank you so much for watching, and have a swell time. Yeah, we'll stick with that and have a swell time.